in high definition. This is CBS2 News at 5.
A freeway collapse in the Bay Area. A tanker fire burns so hot it melts the freeway, creating a commuter's nightmare. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Juan Fernandez, in Today for Glenn Walker.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Linda Alvarez. And our top story at 5 o'clock, traffic in the Bay Area is suddenly a nightmare. A freeway has collapsed in Oakland. The problem is on the freeway that funnels traffic onto the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. As CBS2's Terry Okita shows us, flames from an overturned truck melted the upper deck of the freeway.
The gasoline tanker was carrying 8,600 gallons of fuel when it spun out of control, overturned, and burst into flames early Sunday morning. The driver survived, actually managed to hail a cab to the hospital with second-degree burns on his face and hands. Still, the fire on the freeway ramp leading into Oakland, California, raged for 2 hours, collapsing the 250-yard structure onto another ramp below.
When you have an intense amount of heat for a prolonged period of time, and that fire burned for a good amount of time, the temperatures can get to such a level that they do, in fact, affect the steel. Bay Area motorists are now gearing up for a traffic jam that could last for months. The two sections of freeway are part of what locals call the Maze, a heavily traveled interchange connecting the busy San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge to 3 major freeways. 280,000 vehicles drive through the maze every day, and now many will have to find travel alternatives.
It's just another, wreck in the urban landscape.
The traffic disruptions are expected to be the worst since the 1989 earthquake that collapsed freeways in the same area. That left traffic disrupted for years. Officials expect it won't be that bad this time around, but several months of gridlock won't be easy for commuters to forget. Terry Okita, CBS News, Los Angeles.
A gunman shoots up a shopping mall in Kansas City, Missouri, and now at least 3 people are dead. Police say 2 people were shot in this afternoon in the mall's parking lot. The gunman went inside the mall firing more shots, wounding at least 2 people, and began to reload his weapon. Officers rushed to the scene and fired shots at the man. The gunman is among the 3 dead, but it's not clear if police killed him or if he killed himself. Police evacuated the mall's movie theater and shut down nearby streets while they investigate. We'll bring you more on this story ahead on CBS2 News at 6 o'clock.
Linda, this story is a frightening one. It's coming out of Orange County. Sheriff deputies need your help to find a man they say tried to kidnap a mentally disabled girl from a softball game. The man reportedly was leading the child out of Miles Square Regional Park in Fountain Valley when people who knew the girl stepped in and intervened. CBS 2's Lonnie Rivera is live in Fountain Valley now with more. Lonnie.
Juan, incredible help in this investigation. That's what detectives are calling this photo. It was taken by a parent who saw a man acting suspiciously in this park. A place for fun, sun, and softball turned into a backdrop for an attempted kidnapping Saturday afternoon.
The father did take a couple of pictures of the suspect because he thought he was acting suspiciously.
Police want you to take a close look at these photos captured by a concerned dad. He noticed this man watching his daughter's softball game.
He was making comments about the baseball game, cheering him on, talking about his niece plays in that league, and she was going to play today. And again, they knew that there was no game today, so they knew that was out of place.
Out of place and maybe up to something. Detectives believe he preyed on a girl. The man walked from these bleachers over to where a 10-year-old mentally disabled girl was playing next to the field. The suspect then grabbed the child's hand and made his way through this field. That's when her sister noticed she was gone.
The victim's sister yelled her name. The suspect let go of the victim's hand and then ran away.
For parents, it's a simple reminder of danger lurking everywhere.
I don't think any place is safe these days, and I mean that's why I'm over here with the boys watching them as they're going to play, because even if you're 50, 100 feet away, someone can swipe your child.
And here's yet another look at the suspect. He was wearing a green hat, green t-shirt, wearing blue jeans, carrying a jacket. They say he spoke with a Hispanic accent. If you have seen this person, Orange County Police want you to contact them. Live in Fountain Valley, Lonnie Rivera, CBS 2 News, back to you.
Thank you, Lonnie. A big sigh of relief from homeowners in Riverside County today. Fire crews have contained a fast-moving wildfire. Huge flames rose up along the Santa Ana River in Mira Loma during the height of the fire yesterday. More than 200 firefighters battled the flames along with 4 water-dropping choppers and 2 air tankers. Residents of 15 homes were asked to evacuate. Crews contained the fire at 7 o'clock this morning. Now they're just checking for hot spots.
Well, if you like the sunshine, it was a great day to be outdoors. The heat wave has backed off just a little bit. It was hot, however, in the San Fernando Valley, but that didn't stop some hardy horseback riders at the LA Equestrian Center. Some decided it was hot enough to even do a little sunbathing. If you need to really cool off, an ice rink will do the trick very nicely. These youngsters there were bundled up for winter. It seems Southern California has a little something for just about everyone. So how hot will it get for the rest of the week? Kai Goldberg will join us a little bit later in the newscast with his 8-day forecast.
Well, Juan, we now have the latest on that shooting during a funeral at a local church yesterday. The man suspected of killing one of the mourners is still on the loose. It happened around 12:30 yesterday afternoon. Police believe the shooting was gang-related. Robert Hunter was shot 4 times. Now, he's the cousin of the man who is being mourned. That man was killed in a drive-by shooting last week, though he has no history of gang involvement. 2 other mourners were grazed by bullets. On this 15th anniversary of the Los Angeles riots, presidential candidate Senator Barack Obama was the featured guest at the First AME Church in South Los Angeles. Democratic senator from Illinois received a rousing welcome from parishioners and a serenade from Stevie Wonder. Obama said the LA riots resulted from hopelessness and frustration within the minority community. He offered hope and said much more needs to be done.
Not only do we still have scars from that riot, but in many American cities, we haven't even taken the bullet out. We still haven't stitched up the patient.
He did say everyone could make a difference. Obama called the federal government's response to Hurricane Katrina a tragedy. He said the government's slow response was not because most of the victims were African American. He said the response was colorblind in its incompetence.
More presidential candidates showed up for day 2 of California's Democratic Party convention. Former Senator John Edwards and New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, they each spoke to the crowd of thousands in San Diego. The war in Iraq was a common topic, specifically what the Democratic Congress should do to end it.
You have a resolution deauthorizing the war. The Congress authorized the war, now they should deauthorize it.
If the president vetoes this bill, they should send him back another bill with a timetable for withdrawal. And if he vetoes that, they should send him another one back with a timetable for withdrawal.
The convention there gives politicians the chance to woo the state's political movers and shakers. Also today, President Bush is ready to veto a war bill funding that is expected to hit his desk this week. But Democrats insist a timetable for troop withdrawal is necessary. As CBS 2's Pauline Chu tells us, the battle in Washington comes as there's a victory for U.S. troops in Iraq.
U.S. troops hit the jackpot during raids on al-Qaeda strongholds. They captured 72 suspected insurgents and seized bomb-making material. In Karbala, the death toll reached 68, one day after a bombing near one of the city's holiest shrines. That in addition to 9 U.S. troops killed since Friday.
Our troops are caught in a civil war. We have lost, in the last, since the surge began, 330 American lives. We had 100 killed this year, 65 of them killed with IEDs. It's not getting better.
Congressman John Murtha is one of the Democrats floating ideas for a new war funding bill, since the president has promised to veto the current bill. The buzzword now is benchmarks that would hold the Iraqi government accountable. But Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice says threatening Iraq with consequences like troop withdrawal won't work.
To begin now to tie our own hands and to say we must do this if they don't do that doesn't allow us the flexibility and the creativity that we need to move this forward.
Rice says the White House would never agree to a bill that would punish the Iraqi government, making a quick compromise for troop funding look highly unlikely. In Washington, Pauline Chu, CBS2 News.
Some unwanted visitors are showing up along Florida's coast. Later in this newscast, find out why these alligators have homeowners worried.
Could someone else's underwear be your t-shirt? I'm Alexis Christoforous. Coming up, I'll tell you about a company that's doing just that to help save the planet.
And coming up next, more sadness for the St. Louis Cardinals as another team member is killed.
But first, here's a look at what's hot on CBS2.com right now. It's always on.
In high definition. This is CBS2 News at 5.
St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Josh Hancock is being remembered at ballparks across the country today. He died early this morning when his SUV rear-ended a tow truck that was stopped. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The tow truck driver was not hurt. The Cardinals canceled their game tonight against the Chicago Cubs. Hancock was 29 years old. It was just 5 years ago that another Cardinals pitcher, Darryl Kyle, was found dead in his hotel room.
Jury selection begins tomorrow in the trial of a former San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputy accused of shooting a U.S. airman 3 times as he sat on the ground. 46-year-old Ivory Webb is charged with attempted voluntary manslaughter and assault with a firearm in the January 2006 shooting of 21-year-old Elio Carrion. The incident was videotaped by a bystander and aired on TV stations nationwide. The grainy video shows Webb shooting Carrion as he appeared to obey an order to get up.
A new takedown on hand-me-downs. Still ahead, how one clothing company is giving new life to old clothes in an effort to help the environment.
And a big Sunday for big projects coming up, how a day dedicated to community service will help keep kids safe on the playground.
And your work week is just hours away, but as you can see, we've got some haze out there, also a chance at some drizzle. I'll tell you about that next in your forecast.
I was worried about the day earlier this morning because it was kind of cool and hazy, but it sure changed to be nice.
And what a totally different day from yesterday. It was so warm yesterday. Today, right on the money.
What's happening, Kai?
Right on the money. It was tough to come into work, wasn't it? Yeah. Indeed. Well, it was hazy and it was a little bit warm, but it was a beautiful day today. A great Sunday out here in the Southland, and we're looking for a terrific work week coming your way as well. Hazy conditions outside as we take a live look for you. We can take, again, you can see those that haze and some of those low clouds coming in, and we're going to continue to see that marine layer can dog us as well. So get used to that for the next at least 3 to 4 days. Temperatures today a little bit cooler than yesterday. Break out the almanac for you again. We saw about 75 degrees today. So remember, yesterday we saw 80. The day before on Friday it was 84. So we're seeing a slow decline in our temperatures, but again, a delightful Sunday afternoon.
Well, it's Big Sunday, the one day a year that tens of thousands of Angelinos roll up their sleeves and make Los Angeles beautiful. In fact, more than 50,000 volunteers signed up this year, and then more showed up. Hundreds of landscaping projects included planting trees, building fences, laying out patios at homeless centers, public schools, and lots of other locations. A lot of people digging in there.
No city in America has ever brought this many people together in every neighborhood, 350 projects.
And of course, the mayor was there digging in as well. Big Sunday was started 8 years ago by Temple Israel. This year was the biggest regional weekend of community service in the entire country.
We recycle everything from newspapers to plastics in our effort to help the environment. And now more retailers are taking notice. As CBS 2's Alexis Christoforous shows us, one company even wants you to give them your old raggedy clothes.
Take a look at any jogging path and you're bound to see it. Fleece.
It's nice and smooth and it's comfortable.
But what happens when your warm, comfy fleece is on its last leg? One option? Give it a new life.
Anything earth-friendly, anything that's going to help our environment.
That's what Patagonia is banking on. Any brand of worn-out Polartec fleece and long underwear can be left at its stores. The used garments are then shipped to a recycling plant in Japan, where they are chopped into small pieces, then broken down to produce a raw polyester material that is then spun into fresh fibers. This is the end result, a recycled garment that looks and feels like any other garment. And get this, in the next 3 years, Patagonia hopes to have its entire product line contain either recycled materials or be 100% recyclable.
In essence, you could be wearing someone's jacket as your underwear.
Sound creepy? Not to these joggers.
I feel it's clean, it's safe for the environment.
The retailer estimates the program cuts energy use by 76% and greenhouse gases by 71%. And it's hoping a little humor will help drum up support for its recycling program. So far, the company has collected 2,000 pounds of long underwear and fleece, looking for a new lease on life. Alexis Christoforous, CBS 2 News.
Ingenious, I guess.
Yep. But do you want to try it?
I don't know. Coming up, why dry winters do more than just affect the water supply.
They also bring out some unwanted visitors. Check that out. The story's still ahead. Stay with us.
This year's drought is causing big concerns in Florida. Not only is there a lack of rain, now there are more alligators. Low water levels are forcing the gators to leave their regular habitats in search of deeper lakes and canals. A lot of those alligators are finding their way to people's homes. Some homeowners say they've seen as many as 5 gators wandering around in one day. They're afraid the alligators might attack a child.
We've seen more and more. Our first year here, we probably would see 1 or 2 on a given day, and now, like I said, we're up to 5 or 7 in the morning. That will be right here on the bank.
Florida has had less than 6 inches of rainfall this year. That's 4 inches below normal.
We have a warning for you now. The video you are about to see is very disturbing. They're some of the most horrific crime scene photos you'll ever see, and they were shot right here in Southern California.
They're some of the most gruesome murder scenes in America's history. And they were all photographed by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's Crime Scene Lab. LA County Sheriff's Department Chief Photographer John Shaw takes us behind the lens and inside the city's state-of-the-art crime lab. It's here in this studio. Prints are developed from infamous crime scenes. One crime that Shaw will never forget.
Probably the Linda Sobek case. That was the model that was murdered by the photographer.
Well, that's just a sampling there. Don't miss crime scene photos. That's tomorrow night right here on CBS 2 News at 11.
Stay in school. That's the word from education officials concerned that students will cut class on Tuesday during a mass pro-immigration rally. State School Superintendent Jack O'Connell says students can fight for a better world by working hard in school. At a news conference today, he announced that special study guides will be used in classrooms so that students can discuss immigration issues.
I obviously strongly support free speech, and that's what we're all participating in here today. But you do not exercise your right of free speech, in my opinion, with the sacrifice of public education, particularly your own education.
O'Connell also said that United Farm Worker Cesar Chavez would have wanted students to stay in school rather than attend Tuesday's planned rally.
Dr. Phil does a lot of talking on his TV show.
But today it was his writing that got attention. His book festival appearance still ahead. Tonight on CBS 2 News at 6, we're live from the scene of the California freeway collapse with the very latest information on that. Plus, it's the tale of the tales. Find out what your dog's wag really means. And an American Idol singer is arrested. Those stories plus Steve Hartman with sports and Kai with the weather update. It's all ahead on CBS 2 News at 6.
Well, it's safe to say that anywhere he goes, he draws a crowd, and things were no different today at UCLA. A very long line of people waited patiently to get up close to Dr. Phil McGraw. He was part of today's Festival of Books held at Royce Hall. Besides having a #1 talk show, Dr. Phil is also the author of several books. He spent a good part of the day personally signing copies for his very excited fans. And don't forget, you can always see Dr. Phil right here on CBS 2 weekdays at 4 o'clock.
Well, that's our news at 5 o'clock. I'm Linda Alvarez.
And I'm Juan Fernandez. We know you have many choices for news, and we thank you for choosing the new HD CBS 2 News.
And remember, we're always on at CBS2.com. The CBS Evening News is next, and Kai, Juan, and I will be right back here at 6 o'clock. We'll see you then.